Well, welcome back to the shed, and I'm still working on this old Hanimex HRC 5010 radio receiver come 8-track. The motor in it died, so that's been replaced with a new old stock VCR motor. Remember when they used to have decent motors in them? The mechanism cleaned up, and electronic motor control fitted, no less, because that was the only way I could do it. The original Governator motor was shot. Now, the little lights that indicate what track is playing were also up the spout, partly because the faceplate switch under here was just covered in shit and crud, and heaven knows what else besides, where this thing's been stored in the damp. So, what do you do? Well, there was a row of 4 little tiny incandescent 12-volt bulbs, because this mechanism here is very similar to the sort of thing that you'd have had in a car 8-track. It runs at about 14 volts, something like that, 13 and a half. So, using a piece of Vero board, I've mounted 4 white LEDs, and you can just see the edge of a blue, faintly translucent panel there, which gives them their blue light on the front. So it still looks exactly as it did. It just uses a little bit less power, and of course they won't blow, hopefully, quite so soon as the bulbs have. You have to use a dropping resistor in series with it, and I've only actually used the one here, connecting it up so that it's always in circuit no matter which light is on. Now, over here we had another problem with the radio tuner, which was missing its string. So when you turn the knob here, nothing happened at all. It didn't move the tuning capacitor here at all. To compound the difficulty, the string was gone, but thankfully I know somebody, Adam's got a machine the same, so I took a few photos of the inside, and thankfully it's not too much of a cow. It's fairly self-explanatory the way it goes together. So we then had to light up the dial again, because all the little bulbs had blown, and there was a rather untidy bird's nest of wiring there where all the terminals came in. So as you can see now, there's a neat little run there, piece of Vero board. The rubber mountings the lamps were in had been affected by age and heat, so they had to go, and those ones that you see there actually came off a dud cassette motor. So that's fixed that. Next thing was the little bulbs, little 12-volt bulbs, not that easy to get hold of outside of eBay round here, since nearly all the model shops have closed up. So what to do? Well, I mentioned Morris Marinas earlier, didn't I? And it occurred to me a friend of mine had scrapped one a few years ago, and I had a load of the little lights from the dashboard that are of course 12 volts. Yes, you mentioned Morris Marinas and it starts raining pianos, doesn't it? Or at least it does on Top Gear. Anyway, so that has got that to light up again nicely. And with it lit, I was able to tune to a station I know, in this case BBC Radio 2, and align the pointer and join it to the cord accordingly. This only left the stereo FM light to do. That too is an LED with a dropping resistance, and if I stop the tape a minute, you can see how freely it spins now, that mechanism, and we go on to FM stereo. There you are, you see. When it hits a good station, it soon lights up to full brightness. I had to be very careful doing this, adjusting it till I got the maximum voltage, and then I could work out the value of the resistor from that. that's in series with it. So not the easiest thing in the world to do by a long way, but we are getting there. What I'll be able to do about all this damaged chrome, I don't really know. I think that might come under I'm good, but I'm not that good. But as you can see, the thing, well here, the thing does have quite a nice sound on it. Not in here at the moment, because I've just rigged it up to some speakers on the bench there like that. And they never do sound that good, do they, like that? So, there we are. Work is progressing, so to speak. The electronic motor control works very well. And it's just about got the chill off it, I should think, that heatsink. So there's nothing to worry about there. That's just going to keep trundling away. A bit like the machine itself, I hope. So there we are. This just shows you how involved it can be getting this sort of thing to go again. But at least you can get this sort of thing to go again. If you have, say, an MP3 player or one of those tablet things that goes up the spout in a couple of years, well, you're knackered, aren't you? There's no way you're going to do anything with that. Unless you happen to know a certain Bill Gates, and then even he'll probably say, well, go and buy another one. Great. Anyway, on that cynical note, supper is calling. It's time to shut up the shed, and for me to shut up too, and see you again soon.